Seattle to Galveston, from Buffalo to Fargo, every day, someone in America is doing something to light up another life. But there is so much more to do. The light to do it is within us all. We only need to share it. Contact the Points of Light Foundation. Do something good. Feel something real.
CNN Headline News. I'm David Goodnow. Teresa Ann Pearson's parents say they will fight on. The baby, born March 21st with an underdeveloped brain, died this afternoon. Her vital organs were not donated to needy babies as her parents wished. But the Pearsons are vowing to continue their controversial court battle for the benefit of others. John Zarella has the story.
Born a week and a half ago with only a brain stem, which kept her bodily functions going, but no brain, Teresa Ann Pearson ignited a fire that raged in Florida courts and among ethical experts. Should she be declared legally dead so her organs could be taken for transplant?
I don't think I can allow them to kill the child to harvest the organs.
That ruling last Thursday from Broward County Judge Estella Moriarty set off a flurry of legal appeals. Attorneys representing the parents who wanted their child declared legally dead said the law didn't apply here.
In the statute itself, it discusses brain death as cessation of brain activity. Well, how can you have cessation of brain activity if you don't have a brain?
The courts, all the way to the Florida Supreme Court, ruled against the family. But baby Teresa's plight raises profound questions. Should the law be rewritten to declare anencephalic children brain dead so their organs can be used to save the lives of other children?
Is she a member of the moral community just like you or I, toward whom we have obligations? We wouldn't think of giving you medication and taking your organs, even though we could help 5 other people with your organs. The question is, does this baby have the same moral claims as any other human being?
It may be time, one expert says, to reevaluate definitions.
We're actually moving on in our technology, and as we look forward to the next century, we should be able to, with absolute certainty, determine whether the cerebral hemispheres are dead. At that point, then we may have to re-look at what is the definition of life and death.
One doctor at the hospital where baby Teresa was treated says having seen this case firsthand changes his opinion.
If I knew the family was very strong, I had never met a family that was so strong on pursuing this avenue, and I knew that there were other people who could definitely be helped, I might find my way to help that family.
But it's too late to use baby Teresa's organs other than her corneas because of carbon dioxide buildup in the blood and infection.
The opposition, how they feel, they're entitled to their feelings, but so are we, okay? And it is our baby to do the best we can, which is to go full thrust with us for other children. You don't stop in midstream.
John Zarella, CNN, Miami.
Congressman Ron Wyden of Oregon claims the Bush administration is trying to put one over on American women. He said the White House decision to ease the so-called gag rule on abortion counseling at federally funded clinics is deceptive. Today, during a House subcommittee hearing, Wyden and other Democrats challenged the official who wrote the new guidelines to explain the language used.
To say that you can counsel women about abortion when you're saying you can give them complete medical information about her condition is deceptive, it's a hoax, and you're not being straight with the women of this country.
There is not an intentional ruse here. I just want you to understand that this is seriously not a ruse.
Archer claims the Bush administration is not trying to restrict what a doctor can tell a patient. A car crashed into a Detroit hospital's emergency room this morning, injuring 9 people. Sinai Hospital officials say a patient retrieving her car from valet parking accidentally stepped on the gas. The vehicle careened through a plate glass window. 8 of the injured, including the driver, were treated for minor injuries and released. The 9th person suffered more serious injuries. In Philadelphia, health workers say alleged child molester Eddie Sevitz may not pose as big a health threat as originally thought. Apparently, callers to AIDS hotlines claim the AIDS-infected suspect insisted on the use of condoms. Prosecutors say Savitz, known on the street as Uncle Eddie, may have had sex with hundreds of teenage boys. He's being held on $20 million bail. Defense attorneys are trying to get the figure reduced.
He belongs in a private psychiatric facility that can treat him as he needs to be treated. And also, he'll have access to adequate medical attention.
Prosecutors say they fear Savitz might kill himself or hurt others if he is released. Indiana correctional officials say Mike Tyson is not a model prisoner. They say the former boxing champ is breaking prison rules by giving inmates his autograph. It's against regulations to give fellow prisoners anything of value. Officials also say Tyson's refusing to eat, apparently in an effort to lose weight. Last week, Tyson was sentenced to 10 years in prison, with 4 of those suspended for raping a beauty pageant contestant. Democratic presidential hopeful Bill Clinton said he's willing to debate Jerry Brown anytime, anywhere. In a campaign strategy reversal, the Arkansas governor challenged the former California governor to a series of debates ahead of next week's New York primary. Brown said if Clinton wants to debate, then things are looking up. They're scheduled to face off twice tomorrow in New York. Republican presidential hopeful Patrick Buchanan is shifting the focus of his attacks away from President Bush. Today he called Congress a swamp that must be drained. Buchanan said Mr. Bush must seize the opportunity to press his agenda while Congress is, quote, reeling and staggering from the House bank and post office scandals. As voter dissatisfaction grows, many people believe that term limits is an idea whose time has come. For some elected officials, that means it may be soon time to leave. Dan Blackburn has more.
Currently, David Roberti is the powerful leader of the California State Senate. But even so, he will be the first to lose his job as the result of new term limits on elected officials.
I've always been a firm believer that all good things come to an end, so you might as well keep that in your mind no matter what you're doing or where you're going.
The fate of Roberti and other legislators was sealed when the U.S. Supreme Court earlier this month let voter-approved term limits stand. Everyone agrees the voters are in a mood to throw the bums out, but veteran observers warn that the loss of legislative experience will bring greater power to people who have no responsibility to voters.
Seniority, which translates to me as experience and expertise, it just won't be there again except for the paid special interests and the government bureaucrats.
Term limits backers reject that argument.
It's experienced candidates that are spending $1 billion a day more than we take in. So maybe we better send some rookies back there because can't do any worse than what these folks are doing.
Costa and others, mostly conservative Republicans, now want term limits imposed on members of Congress. Ballot initiatives have been launched in a dozen states, and Colorado voters already have approved such a measure, even though critics say it is unconstitutional. In addition, congressional reapportionment, forcing many incumbents to run in new districts where some of them may lose, may slow the drive.
Now, with this new reapportionment for the 1990s, I think you're going to have a much more equal playing field, and therefore, I don't think term limits are needed.
Nice to see you. Same here. Nice pleasure. Meanwhile, David Roberti campaigns for a final 2 years in office, while predicting that eventually the tide will turn.
When the public recognizes that, chaos will be the result, and their legislators are going to have less power than the lobbyists, I think the public will eventually overturn it.
But not before many legislators are forced to find a new line of work. Dan Blackburn, CNN, Los Angeles.
President Bush has postponed a Wednesday campaign trip to Philadelphia in order to announce expanded help for the Commonwealth of Independent States. Today, Mr. Bush said a comprehensive aid plan for the former Soviet republics has been in the works for months. Ex-President Richard Nixon and others recently criticized the administration for moving too slowly on that issue. Ethnic unrest claimed more lives in 2 former Soviet republics today. In Azerbaijan, 12 Armenians were killed when Azerbaijani troops attacked the capital of the disputed enclave of Nagorno-Karabakh. Armenian forces reportedly turned back the attack. In Moldova, 2 people died in a town near the Ukrainian border after clashes between police and separatists. The area's mostly Slavic population voted last December to secede because they oppose Moldova's mostly Romanian majority. The United Nations Security Council has postponed until tomorrow a vote on imposing economic sanctions on Libya. The sanctions are punishment for Muammar Gaddafi's continued refusal to extradite 2 suspects in the 1988 bombing of Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland. The vote was delayed to avoid conflicting with a Muslim holy day. A telescope on the Shuttle Atlantis blew a fuse today. That's the second time astronauts have had trouble with the telescope. Ground operators fixed a voltage problem last week, but they say they can't fix the short that causes the fuse to blow. Thursday, a blown battery fuse knocked out an electron beam gun. Atlantis is scheduled to return to Earth on Thursday morning. It was the mightiest of battleships, among the mightiest, serving in 3 wars, but the USS Missouri sailed its final mission. The Navy will decommission her in what promises to be an emotional ceremony tomorrow. Jim Watkins reports.
Hey, take the line all the way down. Take the slack all the way down.
It looks like business as usual on board the USS Missouri, but this time sailors are making it shipshape for what may be the Missouri's final voyage.
People go a whole Navy career and never get to experience that kind of thing, you know, be on a piece of history like this.
That history began in 1944 when the brand new Missouri, boasting thundering 16-inch guns, helped take Okinawa and Iwo Jima from the Japanese in the final year of World War II. But the guns were silent for the Missouri's greatest day, September 2nd, 1945, when a Japanese delegation boarded the ship to sign surrender papers ending history's biggest war. After 3 years of the Korean War, the Missouri was decommissioned in 1955, its work apparently done. But after 30 years in mothballs, the Missouri was retooled and recommissioned in 1986 as part of Ronald Reagan's defense buildup. And in 1990, with family members of the crew waving goodbye, the 46-year-old Missouri set sail again, this time for the Persian Gulf, where the huge guns roared again.
The sound of the 16-inch when they go off is something you just don't forget. It's so loud, the whole ship literally shakes.
Another welcome home after yet another job well done. But with the Cold War over and defense spending cutbacks, the Missouri was ordered decommissioned again. Veterans who served on her, gathering in Long Beach for Tuesday's farewell ceremonies, are mourning the decision.
It kind of chokes you up to think that this is it. Gone for good. Shouldn't be. It'll be a sad day. There'll probably be enough tears shed from these old folks that'll quote that battleship.
Today, a plaque is embedded in the deck on the spot where the Japanese surrendered. Now, the ship itself is becoming a memorial to rest in mothballs at a shipyard in Washington State.
I'm glad that I'm retiring the same day that the ship does, because I don't think you could follow this act.
This decommissioning is just like taking something away from you, understand? It's like, you know, just like taking something away. It's not there anymore.
Jim Watkins for CNN.
It appears perseverance paid off for actor Jack Palance. After 4 decades and 3 Academy Award nominations, he's won his first Oscar. Palance was honored as Best Supporting Actor tonight at the 64th Annual Academy Awards for his role as an ornery trail boss in City Slickers. Palance was last nominated 39 years ago. This year's Best Supporting Actress is Mercedes Ruehl. She played the tough, outspoken fiancée of Jeff Bridges' character in The Fisher King. This was Ruehl's first nomination. Consumer News is up next.
This is CNN Headline News.
Yeah, how far away do you think I can get in 72 hours?
I wouldn't trust my car past the city limits.
For the way you travel today more than ever, the Smart Money is on budget. Now at Budget, get a Lincoln or minivan with unlimited mileage for just $199 per week. The Smart Money is on budget.
Around 1900, GMC Truck built America's first gasoline-powered truck and went on to make trucks our only business. A heritage of trucks that some say worked a little harder, lasted a little longer. And that's still true today in a truck that gives you the most standard payload and the strongest resale of any full-size pickup. Sierra from GMC Truck. More proof of the strength of experience.
Can't read without your glasses? Does this look familiar? If you are one of the many people who need reading glasses, then you also know the embarrassment of forgetting them, or the cost and frustration of losing that expensive pair. Now you can always be sure of having a pair of reading glasses with you at all times. Introducing Extra Eyes, reading glasses that fold away into a convenient small pouch. Extra Eyes are made from high-grade optical material, hard-coated to prevent scratching. They can be adjusted to fit anyone, comfortably and snugly. And best of all, they can be used anywhere, so you can always have your reading glasses with you. And Extra Eyes will work for anyone. Just move them up or down your nose to adjust the magnification. Extra Eyes comes with this special pouch and with the attachable ring that works on keychains or on your purse. And if you call now, we'll include this bonus velour drawstring pouch.
For rush delivery of your Extra Eyes, use your credit card and call 1-800-257-1333. Or send $19.95 plus $4 shipping and handling to Extra Eyes, P.O. Box 8660, Atlanta, Georgia.
Some real estate analysts say a slight drop in new home sales, as reported Monday by the government, is not a sign of a slowing down economy. They blame the fall off partly on rising mortgage rates. New home sales totaled an estimated 613,000 last month, a drop of 2.7% from January. January's jump in sales was revised from nearly 13% to 11.1%. Still, it was the biggest advance since February 1991. More than 500,000 Americans who lost their jobs early in the current recession never appeared in government unemployment statistics. Some economists say many jobs lost after small companies went bankrupt or when workers were called to fight in the Gulf War were never taken into account. They say that seriously impaired the economic recovery by underestimating the scope of the recession. The unemployment situation in the former Soviet Union is being called chaotic. The International Labor Organization says 12% of the workforce will be unemployed this year, and it warns that the rate could double if half of the 30 million excess laborers in state sector jobs are laid off. Telecommunication giant AT&T has opened negotiations with unions representing some 125,000 of its employees. Irv Chapman has this report on the issues dividing labor and management just 2 months away from a strike deadline.
It's the latest AT&T technology. Call long distance from a payphone. An automated voice will ask if the call is collect or to be billed to the caller's home number. A computer understands the reply.
Please say, select calling card, third number, person to person, or operator, now.
Third number. One result, more lost jobs. Copies of layoff notices were piled on the negotiating table by the head of the Communications Workers Union. 25,000 jobs cut since 1989. It's the major issue for AT&T to negotiate.
They have to agree to a whole series of job security proposals that we will have across the table. There's absolutely no reason why every single operator who wants a job cannot be found one in the community where she now lives.
AT&T, may I help you?
The company insists it's carrying out programs to transfer and retrain surplus workers and denies it's trying to shrink union jobs while expanding non-union subsidiaries, including NCR.
We have to grow the business. You have to get lean before you can win in the marketplace. And once you can win in the marketplace, you have an opportunity to grow. I think that's the position AT&T is in today.
Union members rallied Monday in support of their negotiators in Atlanta and several other AT&T locations. They accused the company of breaking job protection promises and said the fear of job loss is destroying morale. While the pace-setting AT&T talks are going on, the unions are also negotiating with GTE and 6 of the baby bells, all trying for the best possible deals to cope with the high-tech telecommunications future. Irv Chapman, CNN Business News, Washington.
The Bush administration says it wants to further deregulate the interstate trucking industry. On Monday, Transportation Secretary Andrew Card announced plans to prohibit states from regulating the rates, routes, and services of interstate motor carriers. Card said that could save up to $8 billion a year. The industry was largely deregulated in 1980. Its chief lobbyists opposed the new measure, saying it would impair competition, financial stability, and safety. CNN Headline Sports comes up next.
This is CNN Headline News.
Ah, the Nature Valley Granola Bar. Such simple sweetness. Such enjoyable crunch. Once you come to know this wonderfully wholesome taste, you realize A Nature Valley granola bar could be the candy bar nature intended.
Welcome to McDonald's. May I take your order?
What's cooking?
Well, sir, the Wild West has returned to McDonald's.
Oh, you don't say.
So you could start the day with a hearty combination of tomatoes, peppers, and sausage in our 99-cent breakfast burrito.
Oh, no.
And stop back later for tender strips of grilled chicken with fresh tomatoes and cheese in our 99-cent chicken fajitas.
Come on, Wishbone. Hold your horses. I'm still talking to the sign.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Hi. You been to Australia yet? Everything is big and dramatic here.
For your free copy of the Destination Australia book, call 1-800-727-7738.
I'm John Sullivan with CNN Headline Sports. Major trade from Major League Baseball to report. The Chicago Cubs have sent left fielder George Bell to the Chicago White Sox for outfielder Sammy Sosa and left-handed pitcher Ken Patterson. The 32-year-old Bell returns to the American League where he won an MVP award with Toronto. The White Sox plan to use him as their main designated hitter, replacing Bo Jackson. In Sosa, the Cubs get a young player with a lot of defensive ability and offensive potential. He hit 10 home runs in part-time duty last year, spending some of the year in the minor leagues. Patterson was 3-0 with a 2.83 ERA. No NHL games Monday night, not because of a strike, that's just the way the schedule was made out. The NHL Players Association has postponed the strike deadline until Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock Eastern. That's when they'll vote on the final offer from club owners. That's just 7 days before the Stanley Cup is scheduled to begin. Who's the best paid defensive player in NFL history? Now it's New Orleans' Pat Swilling, after he agreed to a 3-year contract with the Saints for almost $5.5 million. That matches an offer made from the Lions 7 days ago. If New Orleans chose not to match that offer from Detroit, they would have lost Swilling, but gained the Lions' first-round picks in each of the next 2 drafts. To the NBA, where the Spurs did something they haven't done in more than 2 years, lose to the Nets. New Jersey 117, San Antonio 109. Drazen Petrovic and Derek Coleman both scored 20 for the winners. In Charlotte, the Hornets beat the Magic 123-112. Del Curry had 22, Larry Johnson 21. Milwaukee's at Utah, and the Warriors hosting the Sixers. Semifinals of the NIT, Virginia's Bryant Stitt scored 27 points and added 15 rebounds as the Cavs beat Florida 62-56. They'll play Notre Dame in the NIT final. I'm John Sullivan, and that's CNN Headline Sports.
This is CNN Headline News.
If you're serious about whole grain, remember, Wheaties has it. These guys don't. Better get your whole grain.
You better eat your Wheaties.
Hello, I'm Leona, your automatic teller. Can I help you with a student loan?
No, a car loan, Leona.
Fast forward.
A home improvement loan.
It's a General Motors car. Don't get hassled when you finance a new car or truck. Get GMAC financing only at your GM dealer.
Is there someone live I could talk with around
Do we
here?
have one of our calendars? This is a fan calendar. We also have what they call a print calendar. If I can only find it.
Get your hands on protecting our future. We owe it to our children. Call us.
Plenty to do now.
Welcome to Movies. I'm Gail Ware.
And I'm Mike Woody. The first movie today is Basic Instinct, which stars Michael Douglas and Sharon Stone. Paul Verhoeven directed. He also gave us Total Recall and RoboCop. Michael Douglas plays a San Francisco cop with a troubled past. Sharon Stone plays a writer who's suspected of killing her boyfriend. The whole movie is full of heavy sexual undertones.
Would you tell us the nature of your relationship with Mr. Boz?
I had sex with him for about 1.5 years. I liked having sex with him. He wasn't afraid of experimenting. I like men like that. Men who give me pleasure. He gave me a lot of pleasure.
You ever, engage in any sadomasochistic activity?
Exactly what did you have in mind, Mr. Corelli?
Basic Instinct is a strong R-rated film. There's lots of nudity. As a matter of fact, the director fought an NC-17 rating. This is a $3 million script by Joe Esterhaus, so the movie better be good. They did have problems on the set with homosexuals, both on the set and, even after the film was released. There were even picketers here in Des Moines on the opening night. Otherwise, Basic Instinct is a very capable thriller, much like A Jagged Edge. It drags a little in the middle, and it has a weak ending, which kind of spoils a lot of the fun, but it's still a good night, and I'd give it a 7. Gail?
So when you say lots of nudity, do you mean Michael Douglas too?
We do see Michael Douglas only from the back. We get the little tush shot, and that's about it.
So it's mostly still in my dreams, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's the way it goes. Well, I think Marilyn Monroe can keep up with this pick. My first encore pick is the engrossing classic, The Misfits, starring Clark Gable, Marilyn Monroe, and Montgomery Clift, an absolute all-star cast. The film is best known as the last film both Gable and Monroe made before their deaths. And watching them together makes me feel cheated that they couldn't have made more. If you saw this years ago, I recommend it for superb acting and storyline. Monroe is believable, and Gable is, well, Gable. See it this month on Encore. Mike?
And like a lot of the Encore movies, it'll be on more than once, so we can catch it whenever.
It'll be on much more than once. You'll be able to see it.
Good deal. Thanks, Gail. The second movie today is White Men Can't Jump, which stars Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson as two basketball street hustlers. Now, this is high-stake basketball. These games could go for $2,500 apiece. And as you'll see in the clip here, the con is on.
I'll tell you what. I'll pick any player here. Excuse me? Huh? Excuse me? I'll let you pick my teammate. How's that?
I don't believe this, man.
$500, baby. And you can pick anybody out here. Anybody. Anybody.
I don't believe this. I don't believe it.
The Raymond, man, look at the chump, man. Give him the chump.
Oh, no. Hell no. See, white boys don't count. No, you have to give me a brother. No. You got him. The goofy-looking guy.
Me? Yeah, you.
You want to run?
You mean play basketball?
As you can see from that clip, this movie features great dialogue. But that should be expected because it was written and directed by Ron Shelton, the man responsible for Bull Durham. This is unfortunately not the same type of a movie. This is a very lightweight story, and even the basketball action is only so-so. Wesley Snipes, though, is great, and his jive delivery is classic. Woody Harrelson, on the other hand, is in this Cheers rut where he plays this country bumpkin. There is a strong language warning for this film, and I give it a 5. Gail?
Mike, I think you would have liked it better if you could have understood what they were saying some of the time.
There was some times when they were moving just a tad fast for me, Gail. I'll have to admit.
Well, that leaves me out, too. But white men might not be able to jump, but they sure can dance. And that brings me to my second encore pick, 1987's Dirty Dancing. The little film that made it big. There are 2 reasons for that, the music and Patrick Swayze. Jennifer Grey is the teenager who falls for Swayze and learns to dance at a Catskills resort. But don't get hung up on the plot. Enjoy this one for the choreography and the Oscar-winning song, I've Had the Time of My Life. And we don't have much time, but Mike, could you tell us what's on this weekend for movies?
Next week, let's see, we've got a new Dolly Parton movie called Straight Talk. We've got Val Kilmer and Sam Shepard in Thunderheart, and Charles Grodin in something called Beethoven. Something about a St. Bernard, I don't know.
Oh, it's not Beethoven.
I don't know.
It's not the Amadeus 2.
Nor does it look Academy Award material.
Yeah, well, you can't win them all. It's April. It's not a great time for movies, is it?
Say goodnight, Gail.
Good night, Mike.
Thanks.
I've been with TCI for 12 years, and I've been involved with muscular dystrophy for the past 4 years. The summer camp is a wonderful